Hi, my name is Peter Mulholland and welcome to Valley View Farm here in Topsfield, Massachusetts. Today what we're going to do is a maple syrup candy demonstration, and we're going to walk you through that process. I have my stove here, I have my products over here, so let's get going. We're going to take a fancy or a medium amber maple syrup, and we're going to add it to a pan. We're going to add it to our pan here. This might take a minute. Once we've added the syrup to the pan, what we're going to do is we're going to take, this is where a few people get into trouble, we're going to take a stick of butter here and we're going to open it up. We're going to take a little tiny piece of this butter and we're going to wipe it around the rim here. This is so that if the syrup starts to boil over, it'll touch the butter and it will flash down. It has a tendency to do that as it gets close to 240 degrees. It'll start to come up a little bit. It's a final defense against the boil over. We're also going to add just a couple of drops of vegetable oil. Not all that much, just a little bit. That will also help the syrup from boiling over. We're going to move this onto the flame. We're going to take our candy thermometer. One of the things that's a good idea as you're making maple candy is at different altitudes and at different climates, you're going to want to, if you can, take your thermometer and take a pot of water and boil and stick your thermometer in the boiling water and get a sense of where 212 degrees is on your thermometer. Some, depending on the barometric pressure and your elevation, it can change. So mark your thermometer, and then it's very important to be up to 32 to 34 degrees above the boiling point. That's really the important part. Today I've calibrated this already. I know we're at 212, so we're going to get to 244 to 246. We're starting to approach the 244 to 246 range, and I can start to see it in the bubbles. And the more experience you have with this, the more you'll be able to almost see it before it happens. It's hot, so you have to be careful. I have two different thermometers in, just checking from time to time. Sure does smell good. That looks good. At this point, you want to leave the pot very still for just a few minutes. Any sudden movement of the pot will make it crystallize. Okay, we've let the hot maple syrup sit for a couple of minutes. We're going to take out the thermometer and we're going to stir this with a wooden spoon for just a few minutes until we start to see the color change a little bit. It tends to lose its sheen. Actually, you can see it happening right there. We're going to try this right now. This is looking good to me. I can feel the sugar on the cool surface of the bottom, and the color is starting to get a little bit, the grains are just starting to form in there, and I can see the color starting to change just a little bit, and that's what we're looking for, is that a little bit of that color change and a little bit of the shine on the top of it. We're going to pour that off pretty quick. This is going to flash off pretty quick. It's going quick. You can see it. Don't worry about it. We just need to get it in the molds. We're going to make it here. We are going to make it. Here we go. Now, if it doesn't fit in the mold, if we had a pan here, we could put the rest of it in it. We can let that harden up, and then at the end, pull that out with the spoon and make it into maple sugar and put it in the coffee. Now that I've finished pouring in the molds, I'm going to let this sit for about 10 minutes at a minimum. The longer you let it sit, the harder it will get. After that, we'll be able to lift up these silicone molds and pop out each individual candy. So it's been about 10 minutes since we poured them in the mold right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop these out. They're still warm. Let's try this one here. They come right out of these molds like that. And what you see is it's shiny on this side, and it's a little dark on this side, but over time that's actually going to lighten up like you see it in the stores. And what we can also do is we can add these to the box like this. Let's take another one out. Take off the edges. Save that for maple sugar. Box them up. Homemade maple candy, Valley View Farm in Topsfield, Massachusetts.